Right now, as you decide whether to keep watching this video, your brain already made that choice half a second before you became aware of it. You think you are in control, weighing options, exercising free will. But the decision was already committed to neural pathways before the experience of deciding ever reached your conscious mind. This is not philosophy. This is measurable, repeatable neuroscience. And once you understand what is happening in that half-second gap, you will never experience a decision the same way again. In 1983, a researcher named Benjamin Libet ran an experiment so simple it should not have shattered our understanding of conscious will. He asked volunteers to flex their wrist whenever they felt like it, spontaneously, no external cue. He measured 3 things: the exact moment their brain showed readiness potential, the moment they reported feeling the urge to move, and the moment the muscle actually contracted. The readiness potential, a build-up of electrical activity in the motor cortex, appeared roughly 550 milliseconds before the action. The conscious intention, the felt urge, appeared only 200 milliseconds before. Your brain was already committed, already building the command, a third of a second before you experienced wanting to do it. That gap is where your sense of authorship lives. You feel like the author of your actions because consciousness arrives just in time to witness the output and narrate it as intention. But the decision was already made in regions you cannot access, by processes you did not observe. You have felt this your entire life without naming it. You are in a conversation, and words come out of your mouth before you have consciously chosen them. Sometimes they are perfect. Sometimes you regret them instantly. But in both cases, you did not construct the sentence word by word in awareness. It arrived, fully formed, and you claimed it as yours. Or you are driving a familiar route, and you arrive home with no memory of the past 15 minutes. Your brain executed thousands of micro-decisions: brake pressure, lane positioning, turn signals, and you were not conscious for any of it. Consciousness was busy elsewhere. The machinery ran without you. The uncomfortable part is not that unconscious processes exist. Everyone accepts that you do not consciously regulate your heartbeat or pass phonemes when someone speaks. The uncomfortable part is that the line between automatic and voluntary is not where you think it is. Libet himself tried to preserve a sliver of free will by suggesting we retain veto power. Maybe the brain generates the impulse, but in that 200 millisecond window before action, consciousness can cancel it. Free will is not the ability to initiate, but the ability to inhibit. Free won't, not free will. Except later studies found readiness potential even before the veto. The decision to stop was also preceded by unconscious build-up. You did not consciously choose to stop any more than you consciously chose to start. The veto was just another output you claimed as input. Now think about the last time you made a big decision. A job offer, a relationship, a move to a new city. You probably remember weighing pros and cons, thinking it through carefully. But research on choice blindness shows that people confidently defend decisions they never actually made. In one study, participants chose between 2 faces they found attractive. Researchers used sleight of hand to show them the face they did not pick and asked why they chose it. 70% did not notice the swap. They instantly fabricated reasons for preferring the face they had just rejected seconds earlier. Your conscious mind is not the author. It is the press secretary. It takes actions already set in motion by unconscious systems and generates a plausible narrative that makes you feel coherent. It confabulates in real time so convincingly that you never notice the gap. You are doing it right now. You think you are choosing to keep watching because the information is interesting. But your brain already committed to that choice based on dopamine micro-hits from pattern recognition, curiosity gap activation, and threat salience detection, all before you experienced interest as a feeling. The same mechanism is why you cannot think your way out of anxiety. You tell yourself there is nothing to worry about, but the amygdala already flagged the threat and triggered cortisol release. By the time you are aware of the anxiety, the physiological cascade is already underway. Your reasoning arrives late to a decision your body already made. This is why willpower feels like a battle. You are not fighting temptation. You are fighting a decision your brain already leaned into before you noticed the craving. The conscious you is trying to veto a process that has a half-second head start. Sometimes you win. But it always costs more effort than it should if you were really in charge. And it is worse than a half-second delay. Some decisions have readiness potential up to 10 seconds before conscious awareness. 10 seconds. You can be walking toward the fridge, convinced you just decided to get a snack, while your brain was already preparing that action before you finished the previous thought. The illusion holds because of something called post-dictive awareness. Your brain timestamps the conscious experience of deciding and backdates it slightly so it feels like it happened before the action. You experience intention and action as synchronized, but that is a reconstruction. The order was reversed and then rewritten. This is the same mechanism behind the cutaneous rabbit illusion. Tap someone's arm 3 times in quick succession at different points, and they will feel taps in between that never happened. The brain interpolates a continuous path because that makes more sense than random jumps. It edits the raw data into a coherent story. You are not perceiving reality and then deciding. You are hallucinating a coherent world and then acting within it. Most of what you see is prediction, not observation. Your visual cortex fills in the blind spot in your retina, generates color in your peripheral vision where the cones are sparse, and stabilizes the image despite your eyes making tiny rapid movements called saccades 3 times per second. During a saccade, you are functionally blind for a fraction of a second. You do not notice because your brain hides it from you. It suppresses the blurry smear and stitches the before and after into a seamless experience. You have been blind dozens of times while watching this video. You just were not conscious of it. Now here is where it gets darker. If your brain is already deciding before you know it, who is actually in control? Not some external force, not fate, just the sum of your genetics, your previous experiences, your current neurochemical state, and the environmental stimuli you are not consciously tracking. You are a deterministic system that feels non-deterministic from the inside. The legal system has not caught up. We still assign blame and responsibility as if people are conscious agents authoring their actions in real time. But if someone's prefrontal cortex damage makes them impulsive, if their serotonin transporter gene variant makes them prone to aggression, if their childhood trauma wired their amygdala to overreact, where exactly is the freely chosen act? You cannot choose what you find persuasive. You cannot choose what you find funny or attractive or threatening. You cannot choose your next thought. Try it. Try to be genuinely surprised by your own next thought. You cannot, because in order to be surprised, you would have to not know it in advance, but you are the one generating it. Except you are not generating it consciously. It just appears. So what do you do with this? You could spiral into fatalism. If I am not in control, nothing matters. Why try? But that thought is also just another output your brain generated. You did not choose to have it. And the decision to give up or keep going will also be made before you are aware of making it. Or you could recognize that even if conscious will is an illusion, the experience of it still shapes the unconscious processes underneath. When you rehearse discipline, when you expose yourself to new ideas, when you change your environment, you are retraining the machinery that makes decisions before you notice them. You are not controlling the present moment, you are programming future moments. The half-second delay does not mean you are powerless. It means power is not where you thought it was. You cannot force yourself to want differently in real time, but you can slowly rewire what you want by changing what your unconscious brain is exposed to, what it practices, what it predicts. You are not the author of this moment. You are the environment your future self will be shaped by. Every choice you think you are making freely is actually the output of a system you spent years building without realizing it. And the choice you feel yourself making right now is already setting the parameters for the next one. The brain hides this from you because a coherent sense of self is more useful than accuracy. An organism that believes it is in control tries harder, persists longer, builds civilizations. An organism that knows it is a deterministic meat computer running legacy code sits still and gets eaten. The illusion of free will is evolution's gift. But now you see the seam. You cannot unsee it. From now on, you will notice the gap. The half-second between what your brain decides and when you feel like you decided. You will catch yourself narrating choices that already happened. And you will realize that the voice in your head claiming authorship is just another character in a story your brain is telling itself. The question is not whether you have free will. The question is what you do with the knowledge that the you who thinks it is asking that question is the last one to find out the answer.